If you didn't see, recently there was a shooting in Seattle's Columbia City neighborhood on the south side. Like us, a reporter for the Seattle Times wrote a story. She talked about the crime and how bullets were whizzing by. Obviously really scary stuff. But also in the article, she referred to this as always being a pass-through city and a throughway. Her story got a lot of flack. People called her story racist. So she wrote an apology saying not even she realized her own biases when it comes to race. In the article, she mentions a play called Braggsville that just wrapped up at Seattle's Book It Theater. It touches on this very idea of race bias. It had amazing reviews. One reviewer said, "It strikes a knife in the heart of American racism." Turns out the co-playwright is a dear friend of mine from way back in the day. I'm gonna go say hi, see what he thinks about all this. Hey Josh.
Hey man, how's it going?
What's it about? Give me an idea what the theme is.
4 friends from UC Berkeley go down to one of their friends' hometown, Braggsville, Georgia, a rural community of 700 people, to protest a Civil War reenactment that happens every year. They infiltrate the reenactment by staging a fake lynching. And the lynching goes terribly wrong. It's about kind of uncovering these layers of ourselves and of our communities.
It's not as simplistic as saying, well, racism is about the use of the N-word or not using the N-word. It's going into, as Geronimo Johnson, the author of the book, put it, the things that we're thinking when we don't realize that we're thinking them.
So we don't think that there's this idea of whiteness, and that's something that Darren is coming to understand.
It forces us to look at ourselves and think about, well, how am I complicit with what's going on? How aware am I of what's going on, and how do I feel about what's going on?
This feels like the right time to talk about it.
It feels really necessary right now. Watching the audience have their reactions, we've gotten a fair amount of feedback from people who have continued to have conversations days and even weeks after the show.
I think a lot of people have their own bias these days. They just don't know it. Mm-hmm. Does that make us evil?
That in itself is a simplistic way of looking at it, because if it's evil, then it's an other. So if I don't have that, then I'm good. And the reality is that we all have biases. We all have prejudices. Some of us have more power to act on those biases, but we all have them. So the question is, what do we do about them?